we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. Just going to double check everything is working properly. Not creatively, properly. Appears to be. Excellent. How are we all doing? Hello, Brenson, Brian, Basti. How are we all doing today? Put the music back on. Good to hear, Brian and Basti. You have a headache, though. Oh, well, I hope I don't add to it. So, today is the first of the February modular building streams, and what I've decided to do this year is every month we are going to, when it comes to the modular building streams, which happen to be, here and there in a month, we're going to always have a particular theme to what we are building. And for February, I've decided to focus entirely on enrichment items. Because I think that's some, they're very quick to build, but they add a lot to enclosures. So that's what we're going to focus on in February. And specifically today, we're going to focus on enrichment items for small carnivores. That's today's enrichment plan. Things for small carnivores. Things like velociraptors, Dilophosaurus, that sort of thing. Before we get into that, though, I just wanted to show off two of my most recent builds. The research lab, which is entirely finished, and the command center, both in DIN style. I'm particularly happy with how this greenhouse seating area turned out with the T-Rex skeleton there on the upper level. I think it looks particularly good. Which video was that, Brian? So yes, these are now in the Montana Park. I just wanted to show them off a little bit. But let's get rid of them. And we're going to start building. So, enrichment items for small carnivores. I think the first thing, probably the first... Oh, now I have to go through my list and find where the ones I've already made are. The first thing I want to make is a smaller version of this. This was the carnivore enrichment item that we created for things that were as big as T-Rex, I believe. So what I want to do is make a version of this that's smaller for something like a Velociraptor or a Dilophosaurus. So I'm gonna build one just so that we can have a sort of size guide. And I think let's just double check I was correct there. And yeah, so there we go. There's Mr. T-Rex statue, which I believe is life size. So definitely that works for him. So we need to create one for something a lot smaller. Now, I believe the Velociraptor statue, I don't think... Well, actually, that does look like it's correct in size. So let's put him down as a reference. And let's try to make something similar to this. Or not a direct copy, but let's try and do something similar to this. So I think I just want to have a look at how I actually made this. So that's actually trim pieces and then one block piece of concrete. Okay, so that seems way too big. That seems a little nicer. That's a little bit smaller. That being said, it's going to have to be, like, really small. Maybe we could go for, oh, we don't have, like, a small circle. It's very annoying. I wish we had, like, a small circle sort of shape. It's going to have to hang down really low, isn't it? I don't actually think we can create something which has a base to it. I think we might have to create something that's a bit more like this one. Not well, or this one, which is what we did for the Struthy. I think we're going to have one that's kind of like freestanding. So let's actually start with a column piece. But I think we'll make it smaller, just so it's a little less obvious. Thank you, Brian, for the sub. Will this be compatible to Utahraptor? Well, Utahraptor is probably twice the size, so we'd have to probably make another size. Thank you, Brian. Please be careful not to spam things. I will try my best to keep an eye on the chat as much as possible, but I do have to build at the same time, which means I do sometimes miss things. Right, we need that arm, which I believe is in props. Yes, here. Incidentally, at some point, I want to try and do something with these. I feel like these we could make something for the lagoons. Like, I'm thinking, like, if you put like 2 down near each other, you could string something between them. Actually, and you could do a lot with that. Like, you could do something for the lagoons like that. You could do something for like the plant eaters like that. I mean, you could even like build a fence with these. Like, you could use like the natural cutout to put the fence in. Anyway, we want this, but it's just going to have to be a lot smaller. Wow, even that size seems like really big for these. We are going to drop this one into the column. Yep, right. Next, I want to put something around the base so that we can hide it a bit. That's a little large. That's potentially not large enough. Well, actually, maybe we could do something with skulls. But what I would want for that is something with lots of stone. Is that in the center, do we think? Just off. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm going to use the classic bin bag for the meat. We need to hide. Yeah, I want to kind of use this one because I think this one has a bit more of a shape to it. It's actually going to be pretty tough to hide the sack bits. But we'll see what we can do. Actually, I don't like how irregular that is. I think we will use the we will use this one. I have already actually built a feeder for the Brachiosaurus. And remember, as I said, today is all about carnivore enrichment, specifically for small carnivores. I think you might want to shrink that down ever so slightly. I don't want it to be too big. Whoops. And let's change the color. We want something that's a nice dark red. And then obviously we want some bones through this. That's a bit big. Although, to be honest, something like that would work quite nicely. It's a bit Flintstonesy, but I'm sure that'll do. It's that's one heck of a drumstick you got going on there. I actually think I am gonna shrink the bone slightly, just to make it fit a bit nicer in there. Compy. So as I'm sure people will tell you, I hate the combies. I absolutely hate them. I can't stand them. I think they're a useless addition to the game, and I really don't like them. Yeah, my hatred for combies is a bit of a running joke. Does that have to be? Is that low enough, do we think? Maybe a smidge lower. Okay. Now, I am going to make... Did we use ropes or did we use... we did use ropes. So I am going to use ropes for this one. Which does, of course, mean this won't be usable unless you have the wetland DLC. Ropes. Now I'm going to need a massive rope. 4 meters? 4 meter piece of rope. I just don't think they really work with the game's scale. That's my biggest reason. I think their part in The Lost World, where they eat Dieter alive, I think is actually one of the best scenes in the film, and actually one of the best scenes in Jurassic, actually. But the in game, they're just too small. They just don't work very well. You want the awning piece. I really wish we could, like, favorite pieces. Because I use this awning piece so often. And it's getting very annoying. Like, I guess this is one of my biggest problems with how they've done the modular building in this game. Is modular building is kind of tricky enough without the fact that they've implemented it in such a bad way. And I think that's my main issue with it. I think that serves as a decent sort of stoppage. No, we'll just put a big knot there. I also hate this menu. This menu is so clunky. And the fact that the camera decides when it wants to snap back to previous placement mode is also very annoying. I actually think we might want to adjust that slightly. And then we'll duplicate that. Just have that on the bottom there. It's nice. Now then, I think we'll try to match the colors of the larger carnivore one. So this needs to be a nice red. This needs to be a nice black. Did I go for the internal color? I went for white. Yep. Make it the white. This I don't think changes anything, does it? No. Okay, foliage. I'm gonna guess none of these are... Yep, none of these are small enough, and they don't let you change the... They don't let you change the scale of these, which is always a bit of an annoyance to me, personally. And even the elephant grass is, like, way too big. So I think we're going to have to fall back to my old favourite, which is the wattle bush. Literally, again, one of my most used pieces. I don't like that. Have we got any rocks here that are small enough to fit in? A couple, actually. Okay. Now, can we have just like a small thing? Ah, why is the scale? Why is everything so large in this game? Honestly, really don't understand scale. Do we have a bone small enough to? I'm gonna guess not. All of these are pretty flippin' huge. I don't dislike that. I think this needs to be adjusted. Everything is bigger in Jurassic World. That just sounds like a tagline from the advertisements. 'Cause everything is bigger in Jurassic World. Okay. I want to add some strengthening to our armature here. Whoops. So while I'm finishing this off, what sort of like... I suppose toy is probably the closest word I would use. But like something active for them. Do people have any thoughts about something for small carnivores to kind of interact with, play with? Wavy. Why is that? Yep. And we need some hanging down ivy. Cute. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. I don't dislike that. I think that's fine. Right. Let's get all this together and create a group. Let's make sure it's all grouped up. It is. And we'll make a blueprint. Whoops. Okay. So there's that. Now then, something for them to play with, interact with. What one that's probably a good idea would probably just be to look up Planet Zoo's enrichment items and see which ones we can kind of transplant over. So they have like a piece of bamboo with holes in for small carnivores. I don't think there's any way for us to replicate something like that. blood scent markers. Chew toy. Climbing frame. Oh, maybe we could build like some sort of like climbing apparatus for them actually. What could we make that with? Probably the prop wood, I would suspect. Something like this stuff. And this stuff. And their version has uses lots of logs as well. Okay. So if you do one more. Okay. Then how would you make that look like it's been... Okay. So that's like a very basic platform. Now let's create something for them to walk on. Don't want it to be too steep. It's kind of tricky to make it look like it's been put together. That actually probably looks better. Things are quite quiet tonight, aren't they? Not many folks around, it seems. Let's grab a slightly longer one. No worries, Brian. I wasn't aiming my comments at anyone in particular. Just a little surprised today is quiet even for my streams. Okay, that... This one we can make much wider. Okay. And then I'm thinking why don't we give them like a bit of a bridge affair? Why is that not? I'm gonna have to grab a couple of new ones because those ones are not straight. Thank you, Brian. Like that. And then obviously let's do oops. Back to 22.5. Put that down there. Let's do another one. And then that means we only need one more down here. And that should be everything hooked up. What does theirs look like? Okay. So they use logs. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Hmm. Okay, and then their one has like a bunch of like random platforms. So that is the point, Basti. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Right. Now I'm wondering if we need to give these platforms just a little bit of support. So let's give them a couple of pillars under there. Same for over here. That one is in a really awkward place. I put it in a bad position. Ah, DaVinci Resolve. I couldn't... Sorry, I was having some tea. I couldn't... Well, not rather that I couldn't. I really struggled to learn DaVinci. It's why I use Premiere Pro. I just found DaVinci like really difficult to even just do really basic stuff on. Maybe we should just have... Right, okay. Oh, good, Brian. How have you found that? Oh, well, actually, my first question is, have you played any of the other Evolution games? Oh, that rock is huge. That rock is huge. That rock is huge. Why can't we have some small rocks? Honestly. Like how big these all are. Okay. Foliage. Now this guy must be big enough for some elephant grass. Yes. So we'll put some of this stuff around it. To begin with. And then maybe some, not reeds, ferns, normal ferns. Too big. Also too big. We've got some dead trees in here. No, maybe not. Maybe just some flowers? No, I don't think flowers make much sense around here. I actually think maybe just some fallen logs? Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, the moderator symbol has changed back again. I'm guessing that it's, you know, some people have access to unique beta features before everyone else. I'm wondering if like one of these we should kind of make into like a little. Ooh. Oops. Actually, maybe. Too big. Is that literally the smallest? feels a little large. I only want, like, something to layer on the roof. Really? There's not a free placeable roof piece? That's disappointing. I'm thinking we should probably make another one of these, like, covered. Actually, we'll just stick to the one. We'll just stick to the one that's covered. Hello, Joshua. Remember that scene in Walking with Beasts where the Australopithecus was attacked by the angry bull Dinotherium? What if they threw rocks at it like they did later to the Dinofelis? I'm not sure rocks would stop an angry Dinotherium. Okay, now I'm going to steal what Evo did. Oh, we can't change the color of the... That's a shame. It doesn't show up very well. I admit the red sand kind of shows up better. Rust. Dirt. Rust. Sand. Tire marks. Moss. Honestly, I think the sand makes for the best, like, pretend, like, gore patch. They're all a bit large. It's probably the smallest one. I like the idea that maybe they've been dragging stuff up here. Maybe we could do... And then maybe if we just put some, like... Too big. Still too big. That's a little better. Maybe we could just like leave some bones up here. Just to infer that's where they've been like eating. Kind of grim, but given how much blood is up here, it's like... Yeah, I think that's alright. And then maybe around the rest of it, we should just have like... Really? I really hate the fact that it chooses at random to just turn some things on and off, and it just won't tell you. Don't dislike it. But I think maybe these are all a bit too bright. So maybe if we... That's a little better. Make them look a bit more like dirt. And then the last thing I think we definitely need is some ivy. I am pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. I could see velociraptors or Morosin, maybe not Morosin trepidus, but velociraptors definitely using something like that. I mean, let's just... Yeah, some of the platforms might be a little small. But it's something I could see juveniles probably mostly using as well. I think that's acceptable enough. Right, what I do need to do though is make sure I have it all. It's 214 objects, so it's quite chunky. Create group, make a blueprint. Nice. As training equipment. With the adult raptors teaching the baby raptors how to pounce. Okay, let's have a look at what other ideas the Planet Zoo website has. The fire hose ball. Oh, it's like a rubber ball. Hammocks. What? I can't see a raptor or a Dilophosaurus or something similar sleeping in a hammock, that's for sure. Mud bath. Maybe we could make some sort of mud bath, actually. Where is my... I wish they would fix this. Where's my... Ooh, what's that? Oh. Sand bath. Okay. Can we turn this into a mud bath? Obviously, we're going to have to remove the sand because the sand is not very mud, is it? And I think we're going to have to remove the little sand effects to the outside. Okay. Mud. Mud obviously requires dirt. So, I think we're going to need to put this stuff in to begin with. Really? Soil when it comes in? This may take some time, which I apologize for in advance. Ah, yes. Chad has mentioned that news. Yes, much to, I think, all of our shocks, frankly, considering, you know, our interest in paleontology rarely comes up connected to such awful crimes. But yes, Mr. Horner has been mentioned in those files, which is, well, not to put too fine a point on it, disgusting. Jack Horner, more like Jack Horny. Yeah, and, Berenson, I think it's important not to make jokes about it. I know you are doing it in, you know, jest. But I think it's important to recognize that what happened is pretty horrifying. And the fact that more and more people are getting found out, as it were, that's even more horrible. Not that they're being found out, of course. There's just the sheer number of people that are showing up in those files. Of course, it's not the one that we have all wanted to show up in a weird way. We've all been waiting for something more related to Mr. Trump to show up. But not yet. Right. If I duplicate this and rotate, then rotate again, and rotate again. Okay, if I increase the size of this just a smidge, then put them all back in place. That'll take forever. That's what I just thought. So let's try that again. I do actually want there to be more of a pronounced lip. That's better. Okay. Now let's do this again. It's going to... Where would it line up? I have to duplicate around the edge. I think I would have to actually use edging pieces. I'd actually have to use these. Okay. It's a little more heavy on the piece count than just a straightforward piece of wood. But I do want to use the concrete here because I think it's the best material for the job. So... I get away with using just one? Yeah, the gap is just a little bit too big. Okay, some of these are slightly out of position. In fact, they're all slightly out. Ah. I did see the trailer for the dinosaur show. I have a few thoughts. I don't think Morgan Freeman is a particularly good choice of narrator for it. Amongst other things. But I think my biggest issue with the show is that it's on Netflix. Okay. So there's the concrete around the edge. I do think we need to make the concrete a smidge darker. So I think this is a bit too bright. That's better. Okay, now obviously we will then use shiny water patches. Wish we could change the color of them. So I would like to make them a little less blue, as it were. Again, if we could change the color of the moss decals, they would be perfect. No, I think it gets the point across. I think that's fine. Now, it does occur to me, though, that we need something to make the mud. We need water. That just seems a bit excessive. It's like the only one that does what I want it to. Why are these all so excessive? I'm having a think, sorry. No, well, maybe we don't have to have something to create the water. Maybe we could just put, like... Why are these tree stumps so ugly? What sort of plants would you associate with a swamp? Maybe the reeds? Yeah, maybe a little bit of, again, my classic ivy hanging down from... I think maybe we could do it like one more patch of like water in the middle. Okay, and then we need something to place around the outside. It should be kind of like that color, but I want something... Yes. What? The decal's only viewable from one side? Is there another version then for the other side? Oh, there is. You know what I would love? It would be nice if we had some like dinosaur footprint decals to put under this. It's a shame that the damaged concrete looks so obviously like concrete. I know what I just said that makes no sense.
I could see. Imagine the look I'm giving you right now.
If somebody was randomly shown that and asked what they think it is, do you think they would say mud, at least in some aspect of its...
I was actually going to say that just like,
It's just a muddy puddle. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Split group. Oh, we built that all in as it was, so we don't have to even mess about with grouping it up properly. Obviously, this is definitely only big enough for small dinosaurs. but I think it works. Now we've got 20 minutes left. Let's see if I can find one other thing. Prey scented sacks. I think not. A rubbing pad, maybe? What about a trike duck? For small carnivores? Yeah, we're not doing large predators today, Chad. We're only doing small carnivores today. Just trying to have a think. We don't really have anything that we can make, like blood pumpkins or ice cubes with. Oh! How about like a salt lick? Something like a salt lick, I think, makes sense. Okay. We want like a We don't want a rock that's like stupidly huge. That one probably makes sense. We can't change. I wish we could change the amber color, because that would probably be the best. Oh, that kind of works actually. Oh, daddy long legs aren't scary. You don't know what a daddy long legs is? It's like a type of flying insect, but they are known for having long legs. They're kind of like crane flies. I don't see anything else that would be better than the idea I already have for a salt lick. Unless we went with like a mass-produced one. But I think we'll try to make one that looks natural. So I think let's do like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's... It's quite difficult to make this look natural. Maybe instead of trying to make it look natural, maybe I should just be okay with it looking unnatural. We need something that's flat for it to sit on. Stone. I think something made of stone. Oh, actually, a planter would probably be better. Like a stone... Okay, I think we'll go with that. What the... I wish I wouldn't do that. if we grab some of the biome changing rocks. Yeah, I quite like that actually. Goodbye, Kingu. I mean, really, that's like literally all we need. It would be quite good for getting rid of vomit sickness. But just to make it look a little less plain, I'm thinking... Not those. I use so much of this wattle grass, but it's like literally the best plant in the game. We need something, a plant on the top. Can we angle that a bit so it looks less flippin' stupid? Yeah, I think that's alright. Make sure I got all I have. And we shall just call this I'm quite happy with what we've created today. We've got our little hanging Flintstone drumstick. We've got our climbing frame. We've got our mud puddle. And we've got our little sword lick. I think they're all pretty good. And will be perfect for going into the Velociraptor habitat. Probably on Sunday, if we can get the Lokiceratops enclosure finished reasonably quickly. These will all go into the new Velociraptor habitat. So I'm looking forward to using these in-game. I will put all these on the workshop, actually, right now. If you give me one moment. Put all these. Make blueprint. I might as well do the whole thing. There we go. So should you want them, they are now online. I'm going to take some screenshots so that I can show them off elsewhere. I gotta think of some inside joke for the Flintstones. Well, it's 11 o'clock now, so I'm going to leave it here. On Sunday, we'll be back to Montana to continue that build and finishing off the Lokiceratops enclosure, which looks really, really good at the moment, actually. I think it looks great. And start, hopefully, the Velociraptor enclosure. That is the plan. Until Sunday, thank you everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to like the stream, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff, and I'll see you on Sunday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your nights, stay safe, and goodbye.